MEPs debated media revelations about large-scale tax avoidance using offshore accounts that may be depriving public budgets of billions of euro in revenue. Big question marks about the rule of law in Poland were raised in the summer and have not gone away. Following the shocking murder of anti-corruption journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia in October, the rule of law in Malta was also addressed by the Parliament. And the Parliament also held a debate about populism and extremism to mark 100 years since the Bolshevik Revolution. Hello and welcome to our roundup of the European Parliament's latest plenary session here in Strasbourg. Let's begin with the Paradise Papers. The European Commissioner for Financial Affairs stressed the importance of transparency and shining a light on tax avoidance practices. He told MEPs what the EU is doing to tackle tax avoidance, setting out a number of EU anti-tax avoidance measures in the pipeline. These include a common consolidated tax base and an EU blacklist of non-EU tax havens. EPP Group MEP Ludek Niedermayer, who was the Parliament's rapporteur for a file about improving corporate tax in Europe, talked about the tax avoidance practices.
Maybe some of them are actually not illegal, but they are harming our economy. They are harming competition, complicating the fiscal policy of the governments, and also increasing inequality. And people are unhappy because they are losing the trust to society.
He went on to say what the EU should do now.
Within the EU, we should close the loopholes. We should work on corporate taxation because this is the area where most money are lost. And vis-à-vis third countries, we should not hesitate to use more our soft and hard power.
Next, MEPs debated EU concerns about the rule of law in Poland in connection with its reform of the judiciary. Kicking off the debate, European Commission Vice President Frans Timmermans set out a detailed list of concerns about the independence of the judiciary in Poland. His core underlying point was that
every member state carrying out judicial reforms must respect the rule of law as one of the fundamental values to which all member states signed up when joining the EU. The Commission is looking for a real constructive dialogue in order to redress the rule of law situation in Poland.
After an animated debate, Polish EPP Group MEP Janusz Lewandowski explained his biggest concern in relation to the dispute between the EU and Poland.
The European Union doesn't have a real toolbox of how to deal with the countries which after the accession, this was beyond imagination when the country is accepted to the European Union, to the family of rules, then it starts to break the rules.
He added that the strongest action the EU could take is to trigger Article 7 of the Lisbon Treaty, under which a country's voting rights in the EU could be suspended.
I see now the mood in the European institution to initiate Article 7.
Next, rule of law and investigating the murder of the journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia in Malta. During the debate, Vice Chair of the EPP Group González-Pons set out three specific actions that the group wants to see carried out.
First, we want the Commission to immediately launch a rule of law dialogue with Malta. Second, we want the Maltese authorities to investigate and to prosecute money laundering, no matter the names or the organisations implicated. And third, we want an independent and international investigation into the killing of Daphne Caruana Galizia.
And European Commission Vice President Frans Timmermans gave the Commission's views on what Malta needs to do.
The right of a journalist and a blogger to investigate, to ask uncomfortable questions and to report effectively is at the heart of our values and needs to be guaranteed at all times. The Commission takes the view that ensuring an independent and thorough investigation of the facts and bringing those responsible to justice must be the top priority for the Maltese government. More generally, Malta needs to show to Europe and indeed the world that its rules and regulations are healthy and robust.
During a specially organised ceremony after the debate, the President of the European Parliament, Antonio Tajani, paid tribute to Daphne Caruana Galizia and named the Parliament press room in Strasbourg after her. Her family attended the event. And finally, Parliament held a debate about totalitarianism to mark 100 years since the Bolshevik Revolution. 7th of November 1917, Bolshevik forces started occupying government buildings in St. Petersburg. What looked at the time like a hopeless putsch by a small group of ideological extremists turned into a totalitarian communist regime that annihilated millions. Vice Chair of the EPP Group, Sandra Calniete, who addressed MEPs in the debate, explained that left and right-wing populists and extremists use the same methodology to manipulate public opinion as was used by Lenin's supporters. Her message was,
we have to defend our values, and we have also to make them more attractive, because with all the trials, economic trials and social trials European Union is going through, that is the biggest challenge, how we will withstand that wave of populism, Euroscepticism, extremism, right and left radicalism.
the EU will now push on with its efforts to tackle tax avoidance and ensure that all EU countries fully respect the rule of law. So that's it for the November Strasbourg session. Find out more about the activities of the largest political force in the European Parliament by checking out eppgroup.eu. Thanks for watching and see you soon.